Hi y'all, it's Andrea over at Sewspire.com, and today I am here with the 8th tutorial in our ongoing Handmade Holiday Series, which began October 1st and runs through December 3rd. So today what I wanted to do is part inspiration, part instruction. I want to provide you with a great basic tote pattern, and then I want to challenge you to incorporate at least 3 features into the design that were your original concept. Okay, so I'll give you 2 examples of what I mean by original. All right, so not on the beaten path here, and typically not found in a basic tote bag. Okay, it's these 3 elements that are going to take your project to the next level and really make it a one of a kind. So on my exterior panel, I integrated the selvage of the fabric, and I did that because I was really inspired by the message right here on it that says trust your journey. I really just feel like that is what's happening in my life right now, and to have that reminder on my bag will serve not only as a source of inspiration to me to continue on this journey, but in some respects just that reminder to live in this present moment and to always be looking for inspiration and open to receive that inspiration, which is kind of what I refer to as your creative genius. Okay, so that is one example of what I did to make my basic tote really awesome. Here is the second example. I found this awesome glittery wonderful zipper at the Hobby Lobby, and then I took that pocket to the next level and put it at an angle, and then made it so that it was a it's not really a hidden pocket, but the pocket lining is on the interior. And so I left that zipper tape exposed because it's so cool, and then I lined the inside of that pocket. For those of you that are curious about this crazy pocket, I'm calling it, I'm going to put some photos of the process at the very end of this video, and you can check it out. It's definitely not a technique for a beginner, and it probably could be improved. This is the first time I've ever done that, but I thought it'd be fun to share the photos with you anyways, in case you see something there and you can improve the technique or figure out how to do it just from the photos. Okay, so to begin, you're going to need 4 body panels for this bag, and those measure 18 inches tall by 20 inches wide, and you're going to notch 3-inch corners out of the base of each panel, and so 2 are for the exterior and 2 are for the interior. And once you have embellished those panels with pockets or trim or monograms, whatever you're going to do, then you'll take those panels and position them right sides facing, lining up those notches and the top corners. I like to pin everything in place so nothing shifts, and then we are going to stitch the sides and the base of this. You are not going to stitch within the notch, okay? And for this project, I'm going to use 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, I've stitched the sides and the base using the 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. I want to trim away 3 inches from the top of that seam allowance, and that's just to minimize the bulk when we fold all this fabric over to finish that. Then I'm going to reach inside and align that side seam with that base seam and stitch end to end across there, and that's going to give the bag its depth. You can, if you like, open up your seams to minimize that bump there. And then I always like to check and make sure that I have all the layers captured in there. And then I move over to the other side, align everything nice, pop those seams open, and using that same 5/8 of an inch seam allowance, I'm going to close up the bottom corner of this exterior. Okay, and then I can turn the exterior right side out. And I want to poke out those corners. I love the notched corner method because you can get those seams absolutely perfect there, and that just offers me a lot of satisfaction. Okay, so here's what my crazy tote looks like on the front there. I really love that selvage integration there. And then here's the opposite side with my little fanciful zipper. So I want to take that top edge of the bag and fold it over 1/2 inch, and I begin at the side seams there. This bag is crafted using a linen print from Japan, and quilt batting. For this one I selected the warm and natural quilt batting, and so it's not very rigid, but it is going to end up having enough body once the interior is put inside of there, but it is going to be a light bag and kind of floppy, which was the look that I was going for with this awesome artsy fabric. Okay, so I have that top edge pinned over. The exterior is complete. I'm going to now bring over my third unique element, which is the interior. This is raw silk that my friend Usha sent me to use, and I decided it would be so much fun to put it on the interior of the bag. Of course, because it is silk, I'll be mindful what I put inside the bag, but this is shaping up to be a really special bag. So now that I have a little bit of Usha on the inside, it makes it even more special. She also sent me another color here, and I'm going to save this for something equally as special as well. And then she sent me a whole bunch of half-yard cuts of dyed fabric that is from a village in southern India. And so I'll share some pictures of the fabric too if you haven't seen that over on social media. Speaking of social media, if you hop on over to Instagram and Facebook and follow me, you can keep up with what I'm doing during the week. So anyways, back to this awesome bag. So for the silk, I also back that with some quilt batting and use the same construction method with the notched corners. I did not integrate any pockets or features into this because I really want the silk to be the feature, all right? So I'm going to fold over that top edge, and just want to open up those seams a little. Same thing, folding it over 1/2 inch. And I was trying not to trim this because the silk does unravel, but I'm going to have to take just a little bit off of there because it's way too thick when I fold it over for the machine, okay? So because the silk does not have a lot of body, I am going to have to pin just those side seams over and then one in the middle just for a few moments while I get that fit inside of the exterior, but then I'll be able to remove those pins because the last thing on earth I'd want to do is sew them into the bag. That'd be triple, right? Okay, so I'm going to fit that interior inside of the exterior there, and same thing, I begin by lining up those side seams and this mauve silk with this amazing teal linen. Whew, the texture, oh, I really wish you could feel it, but it is luxurious. This bag is definitely a keeper. I know this is the holiday series, but this is my present. I feel like royalty, wow. Okay, so now the interior and the exterior are in place, and you can see with the 2 layers of batting, it does stand on its own, but could easily flop over. It will mostly take the shape of its contents. Okay, now I want to talk to you about the handles. I know many of you are familiar with my Sewspire strap method, but in case you are just joining us, I craft the straps from 6-inch wide pieces of material, and you can cut those to your desired length, and then I fold that in half and press, and then open that up and bring the raw edges in to meet on that center press line. Sometimes I will insert a 3-inch wide strip of quilt batting, which I did do for my straps for this bag, and then I will press that all and fold it over one more time and press. And then I stitch all the way down the open edge and then the finished edge, and then come back in and add 2 more rows of stitching to give that strap a nice finished look. So for this project I used 2 6-inch full cuts, and by full cuts I mean the whole width of the fabric, which is roughly 42 inches long, okay? And I'm going to take one of those and fold it in half and cut it, and these are going to become my short handles on the bag, which I'm going to position approximately 4 inches in from each side there, and I want to tuck those raw edges in between the interior and the exterior layers. And that's going to give me a nice short handle with just enough room to carry the bag snug on my shoulder, but mostly I carry these large totes in hand because I tend to load them up and it's just too much weight on my shoulder. I definitely start to notice my back and neck aching if I carry a bag on my shoulder for too long. So you do want to be considerate of your body. So I have those 2 short straps in place, and you can see this is a really nice size tote. People are going to freak out if you give them this bag. They are. Everyone needs a big tote. Even men need big totes. Okay, now with the other strap, which is nice and long, I'm going to craft an adjustable messenger strap. For these, you're going to need a tri-glide or a slide 1.5 inches wide, and you will insert the raw edge of the strap through one end of the tri-glide and then back through the other end so that the fabric wraps around that center bar. And then take the end of that and fold it over and center that tri-glide so that it's not in the way of your machine, and then you're just going to run 2 rows of stitching to attach that. Okay, and I have attached that tri-glide to that strap. Then I'm going to thread on a O-ring there, so that'll be about center, and then you'll take that remaining raw edge and thread that through the top of the slide and then through the bottom of the slide over the top of that loop that you attach to it. And this allows the strap to be adjustable, okay? So this raw edge here will be tucked in between the interior and the exterior lining at the side of the bag. And then with this O-ring on the opposite side, you're going to fashion a little 6" by 5" tab that you're going to feed through there. I do not use any batting or interfacing on these tabs because there's already a lot of bulk going on the side and you're doubling it over. And then I fold that like that, and this raw edge will get tucked in the other side of the bag. And I come over just a little bit past the seam so that I don't put too many layers right on that seam and then the machine isn't happy with me. Then I'll just come on the opposite side with that other raw edge and tuck that in between. Pin that all in place. And now all I have to do is sew all the way around this top edge. I'm going to definitely reinforce with back stitches at the handles and all the stress points. So the easiest way to do this is to remove the machine deck, and then you just fit the bag right on the machine there under the foot, and I like to start at or near that looped tab. And again, I'm going to back stitch and add multiple layers of stitching to reinforce those tabs and the handles. All right, and the bag is done. I can't believe how much I love having the silk on the inside of the bag. And I want to thank my sweet friend Usha again for thinking of me. That was super thoughtful of her. So as you can see, this is a really generous sized tote bag. And I just want to remind you again, what's going to take it to the next level is you thinking outside of the box and incorporating those special touches that your recipient is going to appreciate, okay? So I hope you enjoyed this project. I'll be back next Tuesday with the 9th project in our Handmade Holiday Series. Before I say goodbye to you, I do want to give you the measurements of this bag. At the base, it is 11 inches wide, and then at the top, it's 18 inches wide. Height is 13.5 inches, and the depth is 6 inches. So again, a really nice size tote that you can totally customize. I shall be looking forward to seeing your custom bags over on the Sewspire group page. I'm going to put a bunch of links down in the details that you can check out at your leisure. I hope you all have an awesome week, and I will see you next Tuesday. Until then, as always, please know the creative genius in me will be celebrating the creative genius in you. Thanks for sewing with me, everyone.